Hey there, Paul with Blackwater Honey Forge. Welcome to the channel. Not that intense, I promise. Today, actually, I'm going to be demonstrating making up sugar bricks, which the recipe super simple, except for this part. It says Homebrew B Healthy. So to explain what that is, the second thing that we're going to be making is the homemade Honey Be Healthy recipe that I'm going to show you all as well. Or as I call it, the Homebrew B Healthy. So sugar bricks, super easy. I'm going to cut this recipe in half. Normally it calls for 10 pounds of sugar and 2 cups of the Homebrew B Healthy and the Pollen Sub. It's optional. As I get later into the winter season, I can add that. I'm actually going to add that today just for the sake of demonstration. So I am going to cut that in half. I'm going to measure out 5 pounds of sugar. See if I get it all in one bag here. I might. £4 pounds, 15.8 ounces. I think that's close enough. We're 0.2 ounces off. So 5 pounds of sugar. And we're going to add 1 cup of Homebrew B Healthy, which I have right here. And like I said, stick around and I'll show you what's in this. One cup. And then my 1/4 cup of Pollen Sub. And then it's just a matter of taking this sugary goodness, mixing it up until it's fully incorporated. You're going to end up with a consistency kind of like wet sand. And that's exactly what we're looking for. We don't want it too wet. We don't want it dripping in here. And we don't want it so dry that it doesn't clump together. You want a nice clumpy mixture because we're going to be putting it in this pan here in a moment. And it only takes just a minute, as you can see. And I already got a pretty good consistency going. Try not to spill this all over the floor. That would not go well. Although I'm sure the dogs would appreciate it. So, pretty much already fully incorporated and done here. And like I said, it's a consistency of like a wet sand. Almost like the kids' play sand stuff there. This would taste a lot better though. All right. Set this aside, and then these are what I use here. This is just a little tinfoil cookie sheet. These are 11 by 15s. You can use smaller ones if you want. This just happened to be what came when I ordered it. And then just kind of scoop this right into here. And we're just going to smush it around. You don't want them too thick. Generally speaking, if you're trying to put them on a top board or a thin feeder shim, you don't want them too thick because you want it to be able to fit without squishing or crushing things. And it's that easy. So usually what I do with this as well is I just put a slice in this into thirds, and then I just leave this right out and about. And in about a day, this will harden up. One of the dogs is down here checking out what I'm doing. In a day, this will harden up. And what I'll do is I'll take these thirds and I'll flip them over and let them sit for another day. So that way any moisture that's accumulated on the bottom will also dry as well. And then what you're going to end up with is your sugar brick. Just like this. This one doesn't have any of the Pollen Sub in it, but that's into thirds. That's hard. That'll soak up moisture, any excess moisture from the hive as well, especially if you put this in the middle of the hive and any condensation drips down into the middle that would normally hit the cluster. That'll hit this sugar brick instead, and it'll actually help the bees chew on this, because it is a little bit difficult for the bees to chew when it's really hard. So having a little bit of moisture on it, not a bad thing. So I have some left. I'm going to make up another cookie sheet, and then I'll be back with you in a moment to show you how to make the Homebrew B Healthy. All right, for the second part of this video, we're making our Homebrew B Healthy. And don't worry, I'm going to put both of these recipes down in the description below. But what you're going to need is 5 cups of water, which I already got heated up right here, or in the process of being heated up. 2.5 pounds of sugar. You're going to need 1/8 of a teaspoon of lecithin. This is soy lecithin. This is an emulsifier. It helps keep everything in the mixture emulsified or together. It keeps it from separating. So you're going to need some of that. And then you're going to have your essential oils. Now, we're going to use lemongrass, spearmint, lavender, and tea tree. The lavender and the tea tree on this recipe are actually listed as optional, but especially with the tea tree, I like adding that because I've been seeing some good information as far as tea tree oil being able to fight things like Eastern foul brood. So it's 15 drops of each of these, and this quantity of the recipe. I already have that sitting around in here because you guys didn't need to watch me count little droplets at a time. So the water, you heat up until it's almost boiling, and you go ahead and add your sugar. And we're going to mix that until it's fully dissolved. Which it's pretty much already almost there. Once that's fully dissolved, I'm going to go ahead and pour it into my blender here. And then we're going to let it cool a little bit because I only want it to be warm when I'm adding things like the essential oils, because you don't want to damage the properties of the essential oils by adding it to something that's too hot. So since the sugars are already fully incorporated here, turn off my hot plate, not spill this all over the place. Yeah, look at that. I did pretty good. And we're going to let that cool for a minute. And then I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of the lecithin, and I'm going to add my essential oils, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to blend this for about 4 minutes to make sure that everything is really, really incorporated. And as you can see, now each of these bottles, they do cost about $10 each, but I'm literally using 15 drops at a time, or about 2 milliliters. With this having about 100 milliliters in there, you know, that's 50 doses worth of this recipe. The lecithin, I think I paid maybe $20 for as well. And sugar is sugar. Pretty cheap, unless, you know, you're a beekeeper and you have to buy hundreds of pounds of it, and then it hurts. But at any rate, compare that to the price of actual Honey B Healthy, and you'll see there's a drastic difference. This is a 1-gallon jug. This is 2 mixtures of this right here. So if you double up on this recipe, or if you make it twice, you're going to get a gallon of this. This is what I use to make my sugar bricks with, and it's very attractive to the bees because I want to make sure that if they need the supplemental feed, they don't ignore it either. And then what I can also do with this is when I'm making up my my sugar syrup solution for the season, when I'm feeding that in my frame feeders, I can also go ahead and add this just like I would Honey B Healthy as well. And the essential oils inside are going to help keep that sugar syrup from fermenting and everything as well. So let's go ahead and, that's not too warm. I'm happy with that. We're going to go ahead and add our emulsifier. We're going to go ahead and add our essential oils. That was 15 drops of each one of those. Doesn't seem like much, but I'll tell you what, you crack this open and smell it. It smells amazing. And we're gonna go ahead and, it's a very full blender, put that on a low setting, and I'm gonna run this for about 4 minutes. Make sure everything's super incorporated. I don't even think it's definitely not gonna all fit back into my gallon jug, so I'm gonna have to find another container. But, so that way I don't have to talk over this thing. That's as far as the Homebrew B Healthy goes. Very easy. Like I said, I'll post all the ingredients and the directions down in the description below. So hopefully this helps you out with both the sugar bricks and an additive if you care to do it that way. So have a great night. Thanks for joining. Be well. Forge on.